Today, we're going to be taking a look at the captain of Squad 10, Toushiro Hitsugaya, the Drip Master. This is Toushiro Hitsugaya, as I said, Captain Squad 10. And he is pretty cool. I mean, he's a cool character. This is based on his appearance from the Bleach 1000-Year Blood War Arc series, which is the same thing that the Kenpachi Zaraki I reviewed a little bit ago is also from. I think they released at the same time, weirdly enough. As far as it goes, this is the box, same as Kenpachi, very much different from the Dragon Ball line or anything like that. I do like how it's kind of like a swoosh at the top, kind of cuts into the Dragon Ball boxes. Now that I look at them, are a little more bland. The Bleach and One Piece line have really nice boxes, comparatively, in my opinion. Although I do like the random pictures, though, still. And so getting Toushiro out of the box here, we have 5 alternate hands. That's not a lot. 4 alternate faces. That is a lot. A sheathed sword and an unsheathed sword. Ta-da! And so getting Toushiro out of the box here, or Captain Hitsugaya, he looks pretty cool, actually. He does have the typical Bleach thing that, again, a lot of people don't like. That being the big baggy pants, which, yes, they inhibit articulation. It's gonna happen. It's with the character design. Yes, the McFarlane ones are fabric, weirdly enough. I've seen them in person. I was like, wow, I did not see these before. They're like fabric, which figuarts hasn't even really been doing until very recently, which is a little strange. The new announcement was Piccolo from Daima, which looks great. Kind of. Those knees look weird. But this is him. He is technically missing one accessory, though. That being his sword, which to put on, remove head, remove scarf, take the sword, put it over his left arm, and there is a peg hole up here along with a peg there, and that will just slot on like so. Like so. There we go. Didn't want to go. And then his scarf just goes back on top, which he doesn't have in the initial Bleach version. It's just a 1000-Year Blood War version, I guess, thing. And there we have it. And I do think he does look quite good. And I mean, he looks even more complete with his Zanpakuto. I will say one thing I do like is the inside of his kind of captain's cloak here with the green. Kenpachi has a purple, which is nice. So I do like that they do keep the theme of the color being different. As far as any other detailing, arms, pretty standard. There's kind of big black baggy sleeves with a bit of white at the bottom. The inside of the arm is white. The legs are these big, baggy, tree trunk-looking pants, which, yes, and again, at the bottom, just kind of goes nowhere. There is, however, sock detailing. And his torso is, again, just black robes. That is the one thing of Soul Reapers, is that, man, they really don't have much variety unless they have, like, a couple of accessories on them, really. Which, again, in Toshiro's case, is mostly the scarf, and, of course, the captain's cloak. That's the big thing with him. Different detailing. Looks great. Again, looks nice. Logo on the back. And the very nice Zanpakuto, which, I mean, we could take a look at an accessory, but why not take a look at it right now with the back of the figure? It looks good. It's in blue, which looks nice, the blue and gold, and there's a bit of, like, a teal up there under the hand guard. Looks really good, and then the wrapping on the hilt of the blade looks really good as well, and that nice light blue. It just looks really good, and the little strap here, also very nice. The one thing I will say, though, is that, yes, unless you want to glue it, it doesn't stay in too good, and I wouldn't recommend gluing it. I just wouldn't, because it makes it a little harder to pose. That's just me, though. That is pretty much him, so let's take a look at his accessories, starting with, of course, his hands. That being fists, of course. His next hands is, one is a set, the other one is a sword-holding hand, so we're going to obviously do that with the Zanpakuto. So we have the other set here, that being the kind of calm-neutral hand, which is pretty good. I mean, I do like getting calm-neutral hands. If there's anything I will give Dragon Ball figures, they don't come enough with these, really. Only some of them really do. And then we have this one, which is a solo hand, which is sculpted a little differently, which, if I'm not mistaken, is for him to kind of grab on to his Zanpakuto so he can pull it out of the sheath That's what that one was made for, if I was to guess. Because it's probably the best one for that. And I think it does look pretty good. No issues with it. And then, of course, last set of hands is his sword-holding hands, which, of course, we're just going to show with the right. So the left is the same. And, essentially, you can keep sword continuity by removing the hilt from his sheath. And then we have his actual Zanpakuto, which looks very good. Very nice silver blade. No issues there. And then as far as it goes, it just slides into his hand, unlike Kenpachi where the top comes off. Just due to the fact there's nothing obscuring the bottom of it. It's just a basic hilt. So there's not really anything in the way. And it does look quite good. Again, the blue wrapping looks nice, and his star-shaped handguard looks really cool. One thing I wish he may have come with, because he's a bit more expensive than I think he should be at this point, is maybe an ice effect. Maybe. Again, that probably would have been a lot more money, but, you know, that's kind of his whole thing, is he has an ice dragon as a Bankai, and he uses ice. I just genuinely think maybe we could have got some kind of ice effect, but no, it's just the sword, and I think it's still a good sword. It looks really good. Nonetheless, I don't have any issues with it. I don't think there's much wrong with it. There just kind of is a lack of things here. Of course, we also still have his faces to look at, though. One thing to note is when changing the face of the figure, yes, it's the typical pull the face off method, but half of the hair is removable. The next face is kind of a... It's not a teeth grit of sorts, it's more of a disgruntled look. I don't see teeth grit to it. Like, it is the teeth grit face in a way, but it's just not the typical kind, because he doesn't look angry, he looks more disgruntled. Next face up we have is the yelling face, which, yeah, looks pretty good. Nothing really wrong with it. And then we have a kind of frown face, a bit more of a, again, disgruntled look as he usually has. He just always looks disgruntled. And then a, what happened? Like, worried look. That's something. The worried look. Very different from all of his other faces at this point, because otherwise he kind of just looks like a slightly angry little guy. That's what he looks like, is a slightly angry little guy. That's how to put it. And that is Toushiro's accessories. Wow, that's it. That's all. Not a lot. And as far as articulation goes, how is that going to fare? We do have a ball joint in the head along with a neck joint that works really good, actually. So all arranged in the head, forward and back at the shoulder, outward, a swivel, of course. An elbow that does not double joint, though. Well, that's sad. Hinge at the hand, of course, which can be rotated to go up and down, side to side, you name it. Again, rotation. Ball joint at the waist here. You do actually have a pretty good forward ab crunch, but backwards not so much. It's a bit restricted due to the cloak, which is on a couple of hinges on its own here. So it can go side to side, outward, you name it. It got a good bit of articulation. Forward, back, outward, swivel, knee joint does not go anywhere above 90, unfortunately. Ankle does rotate and tilt. And he does have a toe bend, and I didn't really mention the waist swivel, but he does have one. And that is essentially it for the figure. There's not much more to say. That is him. And I think he's alright. He's not exactly great. If I'm being honest, Kenpachi's the same way. Way too expensive for what they are. Kenpachi, at least, is a big figure. He really isn't. He's like average size. Some people saying he was like, oh, he's smaller. He actually really wasn't when I compared him to most. He's a bit smaller than the Dragon Ball guys, but he's the same exact size as Naruto Sakura. As SH Figuarts Naruto Sakura. That's it. Like, he's literally the same size as that. So he's about an average figure. And he just doesn't come with enough. Like, there's just a lot of space in the box. I feel like they could have gave him more hands at the very least, but no. They just gave him nothing. He just comes with nothing at all. And that's the same thing with Kenpachi. At least he came in like 5 different face plates. But the hands, that's the big thing. Only 2 alternate sets and an extra. That's it. There's just nothing of value to it. He's one you gotta get on clearance. I got him, or not clearance, well, on sale, I guess you should say. I got him on sale. I was not paying full price. He is one of the more expensive figures. He's like Trunks priced. I'm gonna use Trunks Boy from the Future price as the thing. He's like that price point, or Teen Gohan. And both of those ones, in my opinion, are better. They just come with a lot more. He just doesn't come with enough, and that's kind of the issue with the Bleach line as a whole. They just don't seem to want to include stuff with them. It's really weird. The only figure, I think, out of the Bleach line I've seen that might be worth it is Dual Zangetsu Ichigo. That is it. And that one, just because it has a bunch of effects, really. And that one is even more, actually, I'm going to say it's even more. It's about the same as Kenpachi was. That one's probably going to get bought. And there is one thing I actually forgot about throughout the review, which is the belt. The little loop here, it fell off of the package and would not go on, so I just glued it. I did not have that with Kenpachi, so beware. It probably can happen on most of the figures, since they pretty much all have the same robe design. But that is it. That is this review, and as far as it goes, he's getting a 3 out of 5. He's nothing spectacular. He's not even a must-own. Which is a shame, because I do like him. It's just, he just doesn't come with enough stuff. And that is really it for this review. This has been Delete signing out.